Gretkin,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Shaner, here. Scott,
Here.
Waters.
Here. Can we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary O'Brien here.
Yep.
Come on up here, Mary. We have a proctor or commendation that reads, whereas you are to be commended for taking the time, the initiative, and the effort to create a beautiful yard that contributes greatly to your neighborhood and to the city of Sioux City. And whereas you should be proud of the work you've done and the beauty that you have created. And whereas we thank you for allowing other citizens to enjoy your beautiful yard and for teaching by example the merits of beautification in a community. Now, therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of City Council, do hereby commend Mary O'Brien of 3806 Cheyenne Boulevard for exhibiting pride of ownership and being the recipient of the Sioux City Yard of the Month Award. I'd like to present this to you and say a few words if you would. Thank you.
Just thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda, items 2 through 12D. Consider them to pass unanimously, unless a separate roll call vote's asked for by a council member. When you come to the podium to speak, be sure and state your name and address for the record. Remember, you'll be limited to 3 minutes. I move the consent agenda.
Second.
2 is a reading of the City Council minutes of August 16, 2021. 3 is a motion acknowledging the August 10th Board of Adjustment actions. 4 are resolutions authorizing a grant application to the Iowa Department of Natural Resources REAP program for the Nature Conservatory's Camp Joy Hollow property acquisition. 5 is a resolution temporarily closing a section of Floyd Boulevard and Jefferson Street on September 16th for the North High Homecoming Parade. 6 is a resolution assessing a $500 penalty against Sam's Club for violation of the beer and wine and liquor laws. 7 is a resolution amending resolution number 2021-0405 relating to the Elk Creek annexation to include the amended Appendix A. 8 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Hyman for firefighter turnout gear sets. 9 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a motion authorizing staff to begin negotiations with NAI United for housing property management at the airport. B is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with Black & Veatch for the sanitary and storm sewer master plans. C is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with McClure Engineering for the West Kings Highway Bridge Replacement Project. D is a resolution approving an owner reimbursement agreement and statement of understanding with the Siouxland Chamber Foundation and the J&L staffing for a mural at 219 West 7th Street. E is Fibercom permits. 1 is a resolution granting a permit to Fibercom to maintain underground cable in the area of West 19th Street and Military Road. 2 is a resolution granting a permit to Fibercom to maintain underground cable in the area of Lewis Boulevard and 11th Street. F is JEO Consulting. A is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with JEO Consulting for the Downtown Infrastructure Reconstruction Master Plan. 2 is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with JEO Consulting for the Bacon Creek Sanitary Sewer Replacement Project. 10 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to Guarantee Roofing for a portion of the city facilities roof replacement project. B is a resolution authorizing payment to Lee's Roofing for a portion of the city's facilities roof replacement project. 11 are applications for beer liquor license. See the list, come forward if you have questions. 12 are receipt of minutes. See the list, come forward if you have questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? We voting electronically.
Yes.
Okay.
made a mistake.
Passes,
No, yeah, I wanted aye, and I hit the wrong button.
okay, we'll change that. Passes 5-0. Appointments to boards and commissions and committees. I'm not going to say anything about your age. We're just going to go move.
Thank you.
13 are motions appointing Kendra Berginski to the Human Rights Commission for a 3-year term. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 14 is a hearing and ordinance vacating east-west alley abutting 1814 Isabella Street. The petitioner is Jose Hernandez. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open.
Good afternoon. This was voted on by the commission at 4-1 vote, and there was no public comment.
Anyone to be heard? I move the hearing is now closed. Passes 5-0. Is anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move that.
Second.
Shaner. Aye. Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Hearing an ordinance vacating the south 10 feet of 16th Street abutting 1523 Rock Street. The petitioner is Zach Davis. P&Z recommends denial. I'll move that as a denial.
Second.
Right? So you have to vote no. Okay. I'll move it. Okay.
Moving the item then.
Yeah. Public hearing's now open.
So that was a unanimous decision of the commission. This was having to do with the vacation for property that's already been fenced in by the petitioner. I think the petitioner's here today. In and of itself, the property doesn't necessarily look like a property that would necessarily have to have a sidewalk, but by vacating that portion of the property, you'd lose the rights to put in a sidewalk. And also we felt like that would set a bad precedent for the rest of the community when we start vacating these rights of way right up to the driven thoroughfare. It comes within 2 or 3 feet of the actual road, not the road right away, but the actual road.
Okay. Anyone want to be heard? Name and address, please.
Zach Davis, 1523 Rock Street. So when we put the fence up, we kind of had the ideal that to, protect the kid, because like in Morningside, like that summer, or it was a couple of years ago, when someone tried abducting that kid. But I got some pictures here. On the sidewalk from where the sidewalk across the street was, there was 5 trees. So that's kind of why I thought the property was mine, because the trees that were up, and I ended up having to take all the trees out. And one of the reasons why they did a no vote on it was because of because the paver for the street couldn't get through, which, I mean, the street in the neighborhood's probably the best street in the neighborhood. So it wouldn't really need to be paved for years. And then if it came down to it, I would move the fence itself.
But I understand what you're saying, but you can't give up right-of-way, because then we've got to, if we do have to work in that right-of-way, we got to go back and condemn that and pay for condemning it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, are they telling you have to move your fence?
Yeah, basically, because it's on the right of way. It's already
These guys
been
are
up.
tough
It's already
to deal
been
with.
up a year, and like I've had neighbors come and look
Easement?
at it, and they had no problem with it
Easement for the
whatsoever.
fence work? An easement for the fence? Would that work, Ryan?
You could do an easement.
A temporary
A temporary easement, right, that would allow for city use in the event they needed to put a sidewalk or expand the road or other.
So if we went to it after the fact, yeah, or wanted to put something in.
Like even, I mean, I would take it down too after I moved. You know, because I would only plan on being there a few more years.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, if you can leave it up for a little bit on a temporary easement, is that?
Yeah.
An easement just as long as he
Yeah,
owns
is
the
that
property.
possible, or who's speaking on this thing?
Jeff Hansen, Community Development Operations Manager. As you can see from the photo, the petitioner did have the fence installed approximately a year ago. Our zoning enforcement officer was made aware of the fence, and we've been working with the petitioner. Numerous letters were sent out. They ultimately came forward for a minor modification to keep the fence height. A portion of that fence exceeds the 4-foot height requirement as well. And so we worked with the petitioner, went through a minor modification to get the height of the fence at 6 foot, but with still the requirement it has to be moved. So the minor modification was approved. They later came back in to have the right-of-way vacated. Unfortunately, this little section of vacation would leave a unique situation where the rest of the right-of-way in the neighborhood is 60 feet, and then we ended up with 50 feet in this one little section of the block.
We're not asking for that, we're just
And so-
can we give him like a 2-year temporary easement to keep his fence up, that's all.
So typically when we do an encroachment for the life of the structure, it's usually for an older building, so like during the refinancing of a house or the garage or a shed that's on there, and it's found that those structures encroach in there, we do an encroachment for the life of the structure, or an easement for the life of the structure. This was a new build that they were told cannot be in the right-of-way, so we've never done an easement like that before, where it's something that was constructed in violation. But
Back to the question one more time. Is it possible to give him an easement? That's all. I mean, it's either yes or no. If it's no, it's no, but.
I think since it's in public right-of-way, I would say the answer would be no, because it would have to be vacated to give an.
That's correct. Because it's dedicated right-of-way, we would have liability for a structure that would be in the traveled portion or close to the traveled portion.
Yes, no, I didn't. Okay, well, I guess that's the way it is, I guess.
I'm out of options. I
So
thought maybe that would work.
If you want to uphold the P and Z's recommendation, you'll vote no.
And then what will have to happen is take the fence or move the fence back within their property.
Correct. We've already approved the additional height, so we're comfortable with the height. We've gone through that approval process. It would just need to be set back to the property line.
How many feet is that, Jeff?
I
Roughly?
believe the requested 10-foot vacation, and that from that photo, there's approximately 2 feet left over. So I would think that between 6 and 7 feet, it'd have to be moved back onto their private property.
So was it Mr. Davis? Is that what you said?
Yep.
So basically what the conversation that we're having is we ran out of options. We were trying to think of ways that we could let you keep your fence there at least temporarily.
Yeah.
And since it's a new build and not like an old building that was just sitting there, legally we can't do that. And so what we're saying is, and the argument that I understand too is we don't want to set precedent, which means then if anyone else wants to go out and build a fence, then they come to the city and apologize and say, well, can I have a temporary easement? So that's what staff is saying. So our hands feel like they're somewhat tied, and that we can't allow that, if that makes sense.
All right, yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks
I
for
wish
your
there,
time.
yeah, I wish there was a better answer, and I hope you
do.
heard the council and city staff trying to figure out a way.
Right.
But
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming and speaking about it at least.
Fails 5-0. 16 is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 1501 34th Street. The petitioner Scott Gernhardt, True Engineering, P&Z recommends approval. I'll move it.
Second?
Public hearing is now open.
So
Jeff, 1 second, just while we have Zach here then, so how much time should we ask that he move that fence back then as soon as possible? Or Zach, if you don't mind speaking with Jeff just out in the lobby, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah.
we handle this agenda item on the next one at the same time. So our comments generally relate to the site plan, but I think for the sake of the presentation, I'll go ahead and talk to you about our full discussion on both agenda items. So this had to do with rezoning from NC2 to general residential. The vote on this item was 3-2, And I'm going to go over some of the concerns that the minority had, and then also how we resolved it in our own way. There were concerns about density because these are twin homes, and so there was some thought about whether that's appropriate for the area. There was concerns also about traffic, which is related to that issue, and then probably the biggest concern had to do with the city stormwater system. As I understand it, the city engineering is working on that issue, and they have expanded the detention pond. Their opinion is that they believe that it would not be a problem with the city stormwater system, and so the majority ended up relying on engineering and their opinions. We didn't have engineering at our meeting. We have engineering here now, so they may have more information. Obviously, I'm not an engineer. But we did approve the rezoning 3 to 2.
So I had that question written down on the side here for me, that if I wanted to know, and I meant to ask Gordon during the meeting today, and we didn't get to it, but because it left it a little unclear, the dialogue in the action item about if there are issues or not, and are there water line issues?
We have water, for the water main, there's water pressure issues, which that's why they're connecting up to 35th Street. We are still working with the fire.
No, we haven't. Gordon Ferris, city engineer. We are going to do some more flow tests in that area to, confirm all of the flow, the fire flow, that is. But everything should be good with the connection up the cul-de-sac through to the property to the north on 35th.
So what's the deal with the detention pond? Is it?
No, the detention ponds, we reviewed the calcs with True Engineering, and it's down to what it would be for a 10-year pre-developed storm.
So it is okay?
Yep.
Yep.
And so will that improve, like once we get the water pressure, all of those issues, will that help the neighborhood overall be able to increase the pressure in that area or no?
For water flow, yes, it will. It'll actually improve the water flow in that area.
Okay.
That includes the people who had the concerns?
I wasn't at that planning meeting or the commission meeting, and I've heard two different things. One was stormwater flow, and one was sanitary. And from what I can tell, is there was a concern about the sanitary flowing. The city went out there to do some flushing at one time and told one of the neighbors, hey, we're going to be doing some flushing. If it backs up into your house, let us know. That type of thing. So I think they took that to be as in there's a capacity problem with the sanitary, which there is not. There is not a capacity issue.
When will the trees and that, we can't, it bothers me that developers go out, make a mess of a lot, and it's a mess. I don't care what you guys want to tell me. And they don't have to put up storm fences and that yet because they're not grading, which is baloney. When you grub like that, it's unacceptable. I mean, you guys know we don't need any problems with the DNR. Why do we allow that?
I was told that they were just cutting trees, and we can't.
Have you been out there?
Yeah.
Look like.
No.
No. We can't allow that stuff in the future. It's not good for your neighborhoods. It's not good for our street crews. I don't know. It's really, I don't know why we allow that to happen. I really don't. We just seem to do that around here.
With this approval, though, the developer does plan on starting their grading. They already have their grading plan in, and with that, they will be taking care of their stormwater pollution measures.
It's kind of a hole in the ordinance that they.
Well, then fix the hole in the ordinance, because we should not allow this to happen, Nicole. You should drive up there. It's just a mess. I mean, I don't know if they're going to if they were going to haul those trees off, I would have thought they would have done it. I don't think you're going to let them burn on site. Well, nobody here would want that in their neighborhood. I don't know why the people in that neighborhood should have to have that. Anyone else be heard?
Ryan, I thought you said there were some objections.
There were.
They're not here today? Okay. Thank you.
And it sounds like, though, with the exception of traffic or increased people in the neighborhood, everything else has been addressed. That's the way I was reading it.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think that there was some question about whether we should rely on what the engineering department had gotten done at the time, and having them here now say to me, they weren't at the meeting.
Yeah.
Having them say now that there aren't problems with sanitary sewer resolves, in my mind anyway, those issues.
Yeah.
Yes, you're putting twin homes on infill development, and that's more dense than their surrounding areas, but that wasn't a primary concern of the objectors. It was mainly having to do with the water issues.
Yeah.
How much are they going to cut off the back of that? Because that thing goes way up now. How much is going to get cut?
Scott Gernhardt, True Engineering. There will be a slope in that northwest corner of, it's approximately 20 feet.
You're going to cut 20 feet?
Correct.
Well, it needs to probably be cut 20 feet, so that's good. That'll solve some of that water running off there fast, at least, probably, if you take that slope away a little bit, won't it?
Yes.
Slow it down.
Thank you.
Passes 5-0. Is anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move that.
Second.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Gretkin,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
I trust that somebody from the engineering department will get out there and make sure the silt fences are up before we allow them to grade. '18 is a hearing and resolution. I passed 5-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution determining an area of the city.
We need to do 17, don't we?
I'm sorry. 17 is motion approving the preliminary plat of Roy Day addition. Petitioner is Scott Gernhardt. True Engineering. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
That's the companion agenda item to the one we just discussed, and I think I don't have any additional comments on that. That also passed 3-2.
You're sure welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, Ryan.
This is my last one.
Passes 5-0. You know that you still have time to get those petitions in if you hurry.
And wait a minute.
18
What do you mean it's your last one?
You maybe should vote first, then I can tell you.
We did. It passed 5-0.
All right. So this will be I'm chair. I'm still on planning and zoning. This will be my last meeting that I'll be in front of you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this process, and I really appreciate the what I'll say is the efficiency of the meetings, especially over the last couple of years. So anyway, thank you, and Jason Gary will be taking over for me. So I know he'll do a good job.
I don't think he can fill your shoes, but we'll hope he can do the best.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
very
Great
kind of you to
service.
say. Very
Thank
kind.
you.
Good job.
18 is a hearing and resolution determining an area of the city to be blighted and economic development area, designating it as an urban renewal project, and adopting Amendment Number 1 to the amended restated combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal plan. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard?
We did approve that item 5-0.
Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
19, or you can always come in just to make sure we're staying efficient, though. You just stop in anytime. All right. 19 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3.18 of the combined Central Sioux City CBD Urban Renewal Tax Increment District to add 14th Street Urban Renewal Subarea. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move that.
Second.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Shaner. Aye. Scott.
Aye. I'll move second and third.
Second.
Pass. Passes 5-0. 20 is a hearing and resolution ascending to the request of the IDOT to annex the Highway 7520 interchange and a tract of land in the northeast quadrant abutting the interchange. The motion is requested to delete this item. I'll move that.
Second. Why the deletion? I don't know.
Why the deletion? They're going to Lawton?
Jeff Hansen, Community Development Department Operations Manager. As the legal description was submitted to us on behalf of the Iowa DOT, we had the Recorder's Office review it, and there was an error in the legal description, so we have to start the process over with new notification.
Okay. Passes 5-0. 21 is a resolution amending Resolution 2020-0779 and authorizing a 90-day delay in demolition of the property at 2824 Sunset Circle. Someone else will have to move that, please.
I'll move it.
Second.
Oh, I do. I gotta withdraw my motion.
Second.
I have a conflict. I'm in a family partnership that's part of the deal, so.
Go ahead.
They submitted everything. We're good to go on this one. Just like everybody
Saving
else.
another home. That's
That's right.
awesome. Love it.
Yep.
I don't, only you can decide, but I don't want to. Okay, thank you, Darrell. Any questions?
As long as we
Thanks,
think
Darrell.
Are we going page by page?
If we want.
Oh, boy.
That or
It passes 3-2. Moore and Scott abstain.
Are we ordering in dinner?
I hope-
I didn't have
yeah.
lunch today.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't matter. They add stuff in there whenever they want to anyway. They only go by SUDAS when it works for their advantage. They don't go by it all the time. So what are we doing here?
I was asked to give a presentation about SUDAS.
Not by me, you weren't, but who asked you to?
Well, I think it was just a
Engineering guy?
general conversation to be able to be on the same page, right? That probably stemmed from the conversation that we
Look
had a
at
while
that. How are
back.
we going to get on the same page? And especially when you do a local modification, what you ought to be more concerned about, or I would be more concerned, what do we do locally that's different than what SUDAS recommends? But go ahead and make your presentation. I'd be curious.
Get the presentation put up.
I can't control it. It's not.
Oh,
File should be open.
We've made amendments to this from time to time, though, haven't we?
That's the problem.
Well, no, I mean, council has, though.
They don't cover water lines in SUDAS.
yeah, there.
Okay, so the SUDAS, what does it have for a deflection? That'll be my first question before you even start.
It's 1 degree less than the manufacturer.
That's what SUDAS has,
Yes.
not your local. That's
Correct.
That's what SUDAS has.
Correct.
I'd like a copy of that when you get a chance.
Okay.
It's in the books. He'll drop off the books.
So what does SUDAS stand for? I'm just going to give you kind of a brief history. State Urban Design and Specifications. What is SUDAS? It's just common for all the, in order to make it uniform across the state, try to, make it the best, the most uniform across the state to allow better bidding. It was owned by a formal it's owned by a formal nonprofit corporation and is operated through the Iowa Intrans through Iowa State University. Back in the 70s, Des Moines and its local suburbs all got together to make a uniform set of specs and design standards. Over the years, that kind of grew, and they, by 1998, they had grown to 34 different cities, including the Sioux City, who had bought their design standards and specs and then made edits to them. And they would keep them, they kept it on themselves. Sioux City, the engineering department, would update them regularly. Then in the 2000s, the CIC turned over ownership of the design manuals to SUDAS, and then that's the same time that Sioux City adopted SUDAS and its Sioux City supplement. So back in February of '05. Like I said, it's for uniformity of urban design standards, reduction of contractor confusion and mistakes due to differing specifications, encourages more bidders, tighter bids, method of study and rapid statewide implementation of latest technologies, a form that allows state and local governments to collaborate with each other, allows better allocation of staff projects, not updating their own specs, which is a time-consuming issue back when we did it ourselves, and a mechanism to be proactive in research and studying new and improved design standards. So as far as the users, the cities, counties, Iowa DOT, consultants, contractors, material suppliers, there's 14 different technical committees, there's 6 different district committees, and then a board of directors. The board of directors is made up, each MPO has a member, each district chair is a member, and for our district, it's Randy Kroll for the city of Carroll. Aaron Lincoln's our MPO member. There's 6 APWA members, one from each district. I represent that on the board of directors. 6 county engineers, Dan Eckhart from Dickinson County is our local for District 3. Then 2 consulting engineers, 6 Iowa DOT staff members, and each of the cities with more than 100,000 get 3 members. I've been on the board of directors for more than a decade. Like I said, before I served as the Iowa County Engineers Association District 3 board member. I'm currently the APWA District 3 board member, and currently am the vice president of the board of directors. Justin Potterf also serves on the District 3 committee. He's not on the board of directors. And then previous to that, I served on the Stormwater Technical Committee. There's over 300 engineers are involved across the state with the development of the specs and design standards. And that's just a map showing all the holders of the manuals. So there's over 1,300 standard specification and 700 design manuals in circulation. Every Iowa city over 15,000 was given a set of manuals to start with, and there's no actual count on how many of the cities have actually adopted it. I know Sergeant Bluff has adopted it, but I don't know who else locally has. And consultant contractors and material suppliers have used them. So how's it funded? It's funded through the Iowa Department of Transportation. Also, the cities fund it through funneling money from the transportation management agencies, the metropolitan planning organizations, and the regional planning alliances. And then also the Iowa Research Board also funds it. So there's the 2 books. One's the design manuals, one's the specifications. So there's, as you can see, it's quite a lot of material. So the design manual has 14 chapters. Pretty much all the basic stuff. It's a compilation of information relevant to the design of urban standards. We're talking the MUTCD, AASHTO, which is the Iowa, or the American Association of State Transportation Officials, the IDNR, IDOT, the 10 state standards, which is the Great Lakes Upper Mississippi River Board that sets standards for water and sewer, and many others. You can go through everything's denoted in their books. The jurisdictions have an option to specify new and innovative technologies and materials, and which is what you do through your supplements, and we have a supplement. It includes a requirement for plan sets, organization, and information that should be shown on every type of plan. Specifications are a menu type thing where the engineer has to make decisions in picking and choosing which specifications are to be included. Several sections identify actions that are needed by the design engineer to minimize confusion and errors through preparing plans. Okay, here's some of out of the design manual. Design standards outlined in this manual are to be considered minimum design standards. And a project constructed of entirely minimum standards may, and I would argue probably the word should be should, not be acceptable to the jurisdiction. SUDES does not and could not cover all situations. This is where engineering judgment and the jurisdictional engineer should be relied upon. Right out of the manual, technical criteria is not specifically addressed in the SUDES standards manual or the jurisdiction supplement, I've added that in, should follow the provisions of each jurisdiction's own policies or criteria and sound engineering practice. That's sometimes where we get a lot of our conflicts with developers, and then the standard specifications, here's the sections that are included. We use all of those. The standard specs are split up into 3 different parts: your general part, your products part, and your execution. The general part really is the most important part everyone's concerned about is how each item is measured and paid for. The products part lists your acceptable products, non-proprietary. They don't list anything like a brand name. And then the execution is just how things are put together. This is giving you just an example of what you'd see if you looked in one of the manuals. And under each part, products part, defining the material, the pipe to stiffness, the SDR rating, which on plastic pipe is a radius or diameter radius or diameter to thickness ratio. Gravity, and then the execution. Many of the specs, one of the hardest things when they went from the Des Moines to the SUDES was getting spec sections that between the DOT and that manual to correlate. So these are over the past 15 years. These are all the sections that have been correlated and matched where SUDES and IDOT match up. There are still a few that don't. And this is an example of a detailed diagram that would be included in there that's a DOT standard and also a common to SUDES. The updating process. How things are added to the manual are brought up by either a user or a research project, and that item is then sent to each technical committee that's over that area. That technical committee makes recommendations to the districts. The districts discuss and vote on those. Those recommendations are then forwarded to the board of directors for a final vote before being included in the manuals or in the design specs. And every year, the board of directors meets twice a year to make those adjustments. The Sioux City Design Supplement. Here's in our design supplement, kind of the highlights. This isn't everything that's different, but kind of the highlights. Requires the improvement, regardless of future ownership, to be designed to SUDES standards. Stormwater systems are to be designed to a 10-year storm frequency versus a 5-year storm frequency, and that's based on the fact that's how we've designed our storm sewers for decades. So instead of having part of the city on a 5-year design and the rest on a 10-year, we just kept it as everything as a 10-year. All sanitary leads from structures shall all be 6-inch. SUDES under theirs allows homes to be 4-inch. We set a minimum pavement cross-section, which we will be updating based on the recent action that was taken during our last approval of a subdivision. Refers to the Sioux City Code for parking lot standards versus...
Go back to that one.
Sure.
That's a minimum paving cross-section, and we approved that without knowing exactly what we did, right? I mean, you bring that stuff and I don't know what I'm voting on, but you don't really tell us what we're voting on, you just say we're updating this. Is that where you came up with this sub-base?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not in SUDAS?
No, SUDAS, in SUDAS, they discussed.
Alluded to when you were arguing about that, but.
Well, it was in our supplement, and it was, in SUDAS, they talk about the many benefits of sub-base and drains for the improvement of your pavement system. They don't have a minimum pavement section set in SUDAS, period.
Therefore, Sioux City set their own in 2019.
Yeah, well, we had one before that.
We updated it in 2019.
Yeah, we updated it in 2019 because of our continued failure of our pavements. To try to. Yeah.
And we'll make sure we very explicitly delineate what the change is.
Yep.
When we bring it back.
So moving on, unless there's any more questions on the pavement section. We refer to the city code for parking lot standards because most of our stuff was already codified in our codes, and instead of trying to go through and have the supplement, we just take out the supplement section on parking lots and just refer to our city code. Street lighting modification, which we reduced the number of street lights required in new developments after we did one based on SUDAS, and that's the one by the mayor's house that's lit up like a Christmas tree, and we decided that was not what we really wanted. Yeah. Identifies areas in the city that require 6-inch sidewalk, the downtown area, 7th Street. I think there's a few others in there. And then it lays out our typical water service and fire hydrant connections because that's not really laid out in the design manual, and we have a specific way we want them done. In the specifications, the big ones are the city's is entitled to all salvage materials. Liquidated damages language is in there. Our bedding requirements for gravity mains on flexible pipes, and identifies acceptable pipe materials and removes steps from manholes. Proposed or requested changes, pavement section requirements for local service streets on private developments. Standard allowable discharge for stormwater management facilities. We're going to recommend that we go to a standard discharge of 0.35 CFS per acre for detention basins. We're going to add in a design standard for retention basins as we keep coming across those, and there is no real standard for them either at all in SUDAS. And we have requested that SUDAS look into developing a standard for that, so I will follow how that goes. And then the modification joint deflection for standards for water mains that the mayor has requested, but staff is not recommending that we make a modification to the SUDAS manual.
So you engineers know more than the pipe manufacturers that test their pipe every day. That's what kills me.
Well,
this kills me.
Well, I'll explain this a little bit.
It doesn't matter because you got 3 votes, I'm sure, so it doesn't matter. That's why we're never going to use plastic pipe in this community and take it out of the specs because you guys don't like it, you don't want to use it, and there's no way that you know more than the engineers that design the pipe, but I'm done arguing about it. We're going to continue to be iron pipe in this town, and the one thing that we have proven time and time again is when you bid plastic against iron, you at least make the iron prices come down in this community. But we've been in bed with the iron people in this town for 100 years, and we're going to continue to be.
I'd like to explain something. Can you put the slides back up? Because I do have some extra, because I knew this was going to be a topic.
Well, I was going to say, I would like to hear an explanation of why.
So,
I don't think
more than the pipe man.
I don't think any vote is guaranteed. I just think everyone deserves an explanation.
So the two basic materials, PVC and ductile iron.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're not equivalent materials.
That's why you don't want to give in on them.
But can I finish?
No, I want these guys to know why.
Well,
it's your opinion.
I'm guessing he's going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's not.
Based on the American Waterworks Association, the life of ductile iron pipe is 100 years compared to PVC is 70 years. You got to separate water mains into 2 different categories: distribution and transmission. Your 8 and 12-inch water mains there's no reason not to allow PVC pipe. Above 16-inch and greater, I would not recommend PVC pipe.
But I think what's your spec on the smaller pipe? It's still that one. Still the one.
Can you let me finish?
Well, I want you to tell the whole story.
Well, I am going to tell the whole story.
Okay.
And there are two types of deflection with PVC pipe. One is joint deflection, and one is longitudinal pipe bending. The joint deflection is required to stay to 1 degree less than the manufacturer's recommendation. But the contractor can still longitudinally bend the pipe, but all the manufacturers will tell you, you can't do both. So you can only do either longitudinally bend the pipe or you can joint deflect the pipe. You are going to get a greater deflection by longitudinally bending the 8 and 12-inch pipe than you are by deflecting it to 1 degree at the joint. So I don't know any contractor why they would choose to do the deflection at the joint and not longitudinally bend the pipe, which is allowed by SUDAS. And like I said, the manufacturers will tell you, and one of our biggest manufacturers that we get of plastic pipe is Blue Brit. In their manual, they flat out say, don't deflect the pipe at the joint. Bend the pipe. So there is an allowable movement of the PVC pipe. It's only when you get to the larger diameters where the pipe doesn't bend anymore. When you get to 16-inch, you can't bend that pipe.
Because it's so thick?
Because it's so thick.
Right.
So.
But what are they,
But I wouldn't recommend using PVC pipe on a 16-inch transmission main.
Fine, but we're not even getting it on 12-inch lines around here, are we?
You could bend it if.
That's not, again, our contractors installing 12-inch plastic.
They're doing it on the subdivision that's being currently built.
Where?
Elk Creek.
Right. Okay, that's the first time in a while.
I can't tell. I'll also say our ductile pipe here is more competitive because we use pressure class 350 versus SUDAS use specs class 52. We went to pressure class, I think in the 90s probably. And it's a thinner wall ductile iron pipe than pressure class 52. Or not, it's not, pressure class 350 is what we spec, class 52 is what SUDAS uses. So we've always had probably a more competitive ductile iron pipe price because it's a thinner wall ductile iron pipe.
Listen, I don't care if you ever put a piece of plastic in the ground. I want to be able to bid plastic because that does keep the ductile iron. It's proven. It keeps the price of ductile iron down.
Yeah, we don't bid, in our bids don't say ductile iron. Our bids are,
but if there's a hot zone anywhere close.
Well, that we have to if there's a hot zone. That's ID in our requirement.
You don't have to do the whole line that way, but you spec that whole line that way.
So I guess to the mayor's point, if we think that we can do plastic on the smaller diameters, is there a way that we can start promoting that or making that more easily understood so that our contractors and people know what parts can or where they can deflect or what they shouldn't do at the joint? Because if we're getting our pipe from them, from Lube, Brute, or whatever it is, and it says in their manual, don't deflect at the joint, can we write that in? And when they're bidding, if you're going to use PVC, we just cannot allow you to deflect at the joint.
Our specs just don't disallow it.
Yeah.
So it's not that you would add language to say, the pipe installer should know that.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess back to my question then is just what could we do differently to satisfy the mayor's frustration that we're not at least bidding that or that contractors don't feel that they could? What could we do to be proactive as a community just to alleviate that or dispel that?
I don't think I've ever had a conversation with a contractor where we told them they couldn't bid plastic unless we do have hot zone areas where we can't use it. Most of downtown's a hot zone.
Why don't you call the contractors and ask them how easy it is to use plastic pipe? That's all I'm saying. Listen to the contractors besides listening to the engineers. There's two sides to every story. Bring some of the contractors into a meeting like Bob used to and find out what their problems are with it. That's the simplest way.
Well, I would assume the contractors would want to use an easier.
Not
I
necessarily.
think
A
that-
lot of them like using ductile iron.
Okay. Because I would just worry that Dave is acting on our behalf and trying to put the best product in. So of course a contractor, especially if it's going to be cheaper or easier to use, I would understand that as well. That's why I think you have to find a balance.
What else?
That's all we had.
So is there a way then, I mean, forward that we talked, I mean, I know that you and I believe Jeff's still here, talking about easier ways to streamline different things of working with new projects. We talked about that in the last meeting. Is this anything that goes in that as well? In like a manual that we would give to new developers?
Oh, no,
This probably wouldn't make the cut.
yeah, I don't think you could put that into a single sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing I think everyone has to realize is just because you can do something under the design manuals doesn't mean it's a good idea to do it. I mean, if we had a developer come in and say he wanted to bury all of his water mains 15 feet deep, even though there's nothing that prohibits him from doing that, it's just not good design.
You don't have to worry about frost.
You wouldn't have to worry about frost.
For sure.
One thing I would like to add. Maybe a shortfall we've had in the past is when we've brought back supplements, we haven't been very explicit about what are in supplements, and we will do a better job of going forward, such as the paving cross-section, of being very explicit so that council is very aware of changes as they're being made going forward.
And I think that's important, and just for everyone to know, you know what I mean? Like, I think we've had those conversations too, where I don't want any contractors putting stuff in and then finding out, oh, this doesn't meet specs and you have to tear it out. Or we just say, okay, well, moving forward, you have to do this. I mean, we talked about it. The sidewalk one is one that really frustrates me. And maybe it's because I'm a wheelchair user. I literally can see the impact of having the slant on a sidewalk. And so when you allow that in a community, or if you're not explicit with your developers or contractors of why that's important, and they just say, well, I'm not going to tear out my sidewalk and redo it, that's frustrating. And that's something that as a community, we will pay the price. Because at the end of the day, if we get audited by ADA or, you know, any of those people that come in and are going to do those measurements, we are the ones that will be on the hook. And so I think that's where city staff is trying to be proactive, but I understand we need to be very proactive in working with new developers and setting expectations and letting them know this is why it needs to be done this way. But there are options, to the mayor's point, is if we can do smaller tubed piping and plastic, if that would be an option, then at least they can pursue that.
Most of the water main in Whispering Creek is plastic too, I believe.
Do what?
I believe most of the water main through Whispering Creek is plastic.
Yeah, all of Humphrey Hanson's addition was. How did they build it with that spec? I don't get it.
Well, because they could bend it. You can longitudinally bend it, and you're going to get, so like if you, on a 1 degree deflection, your radius is like 1,100 feet. First of all, that's not going to get you much. We don't have many streets that bend at that wide of a radius. Where if you actually pipe bend it longitudinally, you can get a 200 or 400 foot radius. That's more applicable to what our streets bend.
I don't know. Talk to the contractors.
Yeah, just being
should be-
proactive and hopefully having more meetings and more discussions and understanding. I think it's important.
Thanks, David.
More than welcome to come up and borrow any of these anytime you want.
Yeah.
If you want to read them.
A little light reading.
Citizen concerns. Any citizens concerned, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, please.
Ernie Colt, 4526 Perry Way. Isn't it nice you can come to city council and voice your concerns and have people that actually listen? So I want to say thank you for being good stewards of taxpayer dollars once again. Moving forward, you're going to have the chance to continue being good stewards with hopefully some federal relief funds from the federal government. Please continue taking into consideration the taxpayers' and your own community. I'd like to challenge each of you to have constituent meetings within your own wards to listen to what the people have to say about how they want the dollars to be spent. I think it's a good idea. I think you guys do a good job of listening. So with that, there will be a meeting tomorrow at 4:30, building next to us. We can try to voice our opinions there. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ernie.
Anyone else? Mr. Gratkin.
I just wanted to share a bit of information. Last Friday, the Iowa Economic Development Authority approved the Sioux City Sports Commission Regional Sports District grant of $50,000. I think this will, I don't know how many years it's been going on, better than 10 probably.
Oh, yeah.
And the Regional Sports Authority District grant will be used to support amateur athletics throughout the community. Baseball, basketball, I think marathon. Can you think of anything else I'm forgetting?
Did you fund that
Darts,
5K?
pool.
Darts and pool. Did you fund what?
Did you fund that 5K that one gentleman came?
That's the marathon, yep.
Yes. Yeah, it's a,
Good.
yep.
And
Yep.
darts and pool
Getting
is
some help.
included in those leagues because they do bring a lot of commerce to Sioux City.
Good.
Yes, a lot, and it has a tremendous economic impact. So I thought it was good news. I thought I'd share it. I think you probably heard.
Got an email? Yeah.
But yep, it's good, and the Sports Commission is hammering away, trying to give other opportunities to people putting on events. So
Great.
that's all I have.
Good job. Ms. Shaner.
I echo what Pete has to say about it. I also serve on that commission and welcome applications for different kinds of sports, new events. I believe we sponsored a dance sporting event last year as well. So if you have something, bring it to us and we'll be happy to listen.
Mr. Waters.
So I believe that everything was in the memo. I just wanted to bring it up to at least the council and share some excitement that we found a great candidate for the executive director of the Regional Tourism Bureau. She had her first week, so she's been on the job for a week. She's planning on coming before the council to introduce herself and talk a little bit about that. But operations are going pretty well. She's been building quite a bit of collaborative relationships already in conferences that she's going to be going to. What's great is she is coming to us from a larger market. She was down outside of Kansas City running the tourism bureau there. She actually grew up in Sioux City, went to Heelan, if I'm not mistaken, for a brief period. And so she was really excited to come back to our community. So should be a good fit. So
Can you share a name?
yeah, it's Christy. Christy, now I forget.
She didn't go to East, though, huh?
Christy Franz, Franz. No, I'm trying to recall because she, I think, was in school with Chris McGowan for a brief time, so we were laughing about that. Anyway, that's all I have.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you. Last Thursday evening, I attended the West Side Coalition meeting. Hannah Neal was there from Simcoe. They talked about the Hamilton Boulevard and Corridor study. I want to compliment Mr. David Carney. He did a good job for a robust discussion of the Hamilton Boulevard corridor. You fielded questions very well. I thought we had excellent questions from the residents in the area at 3rd and Hamilton and at the church there. And actually, one thing that I like that came out of it is that you acknowledged some things that could be done to make improvements to the Hamilton corridor. And so I appreciate, Dave, that you took that time and some of, a couple of us got ornery with you, but that's your job. So, but I thought you addressed the questions very well. It was well attended. Very good questions were asked and answered. So we'll probably be hearing some more about that as we go through this process. And 30 days have passed, correct? We've got 60 more days?
No,
We're 2 weeks in.
yeah, we're just barely, it'll be 2 weeks on Wednesday.
Well, it just seems like 30 days, Dave.
We're going to go the full 90 though, right?
Yep.
Good.
But really, seriously, there were good questions, and there's going to be some good follow-up coming.
Yeah, there was a real good comment about how to rearrange that one intersection. We're gonna work with the engineer on.
On 3rd?
Yeah, re-engineer. And then help me out, Mr., you're welcome. Help me out, Mr. Waters. Don't we have something coming up on Saturday or Sunday?
We do. Sunday's the Wiffle Ball Classic. And so your very own, some members of the city council will be playing in a wiffle ball tournament to support Siouxland Cares. And so we'll be out there. So if you want to see Dan swinging a bat and me running some bases, I tell you what, we are a dangerous combo.
We even make some
I'm guessing you can run the bases better than he can swing the bat. But I'll be out to see that.
That might be.
There is along that same line, there is the home run contest, and I get to pitch it. So if you want the pitch about right here, just let me know. I'll do my best.
2 years ago, I got the home run, remember?
Yes, I did.
That's good for me. It's a wiffle ball. It's much lighter than baseball. Lastly, I want to thank Ernie for your comments to the mayor and the council. And I think we have done a good job of being transparent about how we're spending the COVID-19 funds. We've had some open meetings with our priorities, and I hope you have our list of what we're looking at. Yes, a lot of it is going toward infrastructure that's desperately needed in this community. So I think we're doing things right, and if we're not, the mayor and the council, we have the open meetings to listen and take in comments. So, but I appreciated your feedback today. It's always nice to get some positive feedback, Ernie, so thank you for that.
And we understand that from our finance director that we are required to pay Davis-Bacon wages on those jobs. With that, I'll move, we adjourn.
Second.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Shaner?
Aye.
Gott? Waters?
Aye.